Well, guys, we are back. It is finally time to return to Blue Valley in Stargirl Season 3, which, of course, the premiere came out about a week ago now, so I am a little late to this, but I've been super duper busy these last couple weekends, so now that I've had some time, I've actually gotten to watch the episode, and now we gotta talk about it, because this episode just reminded me how good this show really is. This is definitely one of the best DC TV series there is out there. The first two seasons are both amazing. I still think I like the first season a little bit more, but season 3 is already off to a great start. Because just like Superman and Lois, for example, yes, it's a CW show, it's a DC CW show, but it's so much better than all these other ones like we had with Batwoman and Legends, and well, of course, those are canceled now. But even The Flash as well, like, it's just on a whole other level. One of the parts of that is just the aspect ratio for the show. It just makes it look more cinematic, so I absolutely love that. Just the quality of Stargirl is absolutely amazing. So I'm so excited that we are finally time to return for Season 3. So, again, like I said, I'm like a week late on this episode, but I will be trying to keep caught up with the rest of the episodes throughout the season, so stay tuned for those. But if you haven't seen the episode yet, which, you know, hopefully you would have at this point. Again, it's been a week, but I just watched it, so you never know. But anyway, spoiler warning if you haven't seen it yet. But without further ado, let's jump into this and break down Stargirl Season 3, Episode 1, which is Chapter 1, The Murder. And so when we begin this episode, we have basically a little bit of a recap. They actually do a recap of pretty much like the first two seasons, and then we actually get into the new footage, and it is also kind of like a newer recap of kind of what's been happening in Blue Valley since Season 2, where we see that the Shade is alive and good. You know, he's living life to the best possibility there. Rick's hourglass is still not working. He keeps burying Solomon Grundy here and there where the Shade tells him to. Nothing is working. Grundy is still very dead. The Crocs, of course, have moved in next door to the Whitmore Dugans, speaking that they actually went on a camping trip to Yellowstone Park, so that's pretty cool, and they're on their way back now. But most interesting is that we have the return of the gambler. Stephen Sharp is now back at home sweet home in Blue Valley. So that was definitely pretty interesting, and we'll get into that more in a second. But first, Sylvester Pemberton also, of course, has made his return as well. Starman's back, baby. And he has been house-sitting for the Whitmore Dugans while they were away on their camping trip because he's staying with them, and he was, making them breakfast and fixing up things around the house. But there's already some tension going on here where, like, he tells Courtney, like, I'm not going to take the staff back from you. I'm done as Starman. But you see throughout the episode that that's not exactly the case. Because he still has that bond with Cosmo, aka the Cosmic Staff, and he even believes that's the reason he was brought back to life. Because we weren't completely sure how he survived, how he was alive. Apparently he did actually die and was somehow resurrected. And he woke up in his own coffin, had to unbury himself. And he believes that the bond that awoken with Courtney and the staff was what kind of resurrected Sylvester. So it's pretty interesting. Definitely not an explanation I was expecting, but still pretty cool. And then after this, not only is the gambler back in Blue Valley, but he actually goes to the Whitmore Dugan's residence, and he actually knocks on the door, and he is there to apologize. We find out he has a daughter, Becky Sharp, and he kind of wants to turn a new leaf. You know, we've seen a lot of these other former ISA members, get their redemption stories, their redemption arcs, and now the gambler wants to be the next on the list. So he's basically going around town apologizing to everybody that he's done wrong to, including the Shade. He goes to him and talks to the Shade. The Shade just absolutely hates him and tells him to get out. You get this really cool moment where he gets the shadow eyes. That was really cool. But then you also see there's like these green sparks at his fingertips that like something weird is going on with his powers. So most likely we'll be getting more developments on that later in the season. But Crusher has some concerns about the gambler because, of course, they used to work together as a part of the ISA, and this next morning when Pat wakes up, he finds Crusher in his kitchen making protein shakes, or I think they were like wheatgrass shakes or something like that. And, obviously he wants to get him back in the gym. Pat, got to get you back in shape, get back with the program and all this stuff. Rip City is having their grand reopening, so that's pretty cool. But he is concerned about this whole gambler thing. Why was he here? Don't trust him, all this stuff. So he's definitely a suspect for our murder that we get at the end of the episode, but there's no way he did it. Now, as for the JSA, though, there's quite a bit of tension here because, of course, Cindy Berman, she's also trying to turn a new leaf. She wants to be a hero. She wants to join the JSA, and she is technically part of the JSA now, but both Yolanda and Rick hate her. They don't trust her. They don't want her to be part of the team, and it's understandable for what she's done in the past, and also the fact that, when she is working with them, she's so obnoxious and cocky and, doesn't want to do anything, so it's super duper understandable. But also Artemis wants to join the team as well. We actually get her little audition when the team goes out to take down the No Limits gang, and then Artemis shows up in her full suit that we saw in season 2, takes him down with ease, and then she just dips out and disappears. So I hope she does join the team because I think Artemis is a really cool character. Of course, I mainly know the character from Young Justice, so I would love to see her eventually get to that point where she is. She could maybe even get inspiration from the original Green Arrow that we know existed in this universe. That would be really cool. Now, back to the whole Sylvester thing. Again, he's having troubles adjusting to life because he actually ends up taking the staff because he goes off on a joyride with Pat and Stripe, getting to see Stripe in action, flying around and all this stuff. And he just takes the staff because it's his. And he has a talk with Courtney about yeah, I lied to you. I did come back here originally to get the staff, but then I saw the bond that you have and that you are the future. I can't take that away from you. But then they end up making an agreement that, you know what? We can both share the staff. So basically, while Courtney is going to be in school, he can use the staff, he can be Starman, Starman's back, and then as soon as she gets out of school, it's Stargirl time, which I think actually makes a lot of sense, and as she says, is a win for everybody, because, when she's in school, it's not like she can go out and be a superhero, and if there's a big crime or villains on the loose, now Starman can take care of that. So I think that's pretty cool, and I definitely like that development there. But the big thing at the end of the episode all relates back to the Gambler, because this No Limits gang that the JSA, or actually Artemis, took down is apparently they used to work specifically with the Gambler. So of course everybody not trusting the Gambler or any of these villains that are supposedly reformed, they go after the Gambler. They go to his trailer park, they go to look for him. He meanwhile is writing a letter to his daughter, and while trying to locate her, something pops up on his laptop. An unidentified feed pops up with cameras on the school, the Chapel House, the Dugan Whitmore residence, and also his trailer. So, of course, he is super confused here and concerned, so he goes outside, investigates, is looking at the camera, and then, of course, as soon as he gets close enough, the feed cuts out, the camera gets destroyed, you hear this, weird creature growl, and the assumption is that he's dead. And then we see minutes later that as the JSA is going off to find the Gambler, they do find him, but with Cindy standing over his dead body, holding his gun. Now, obviously, we know she's not the one that did it, because, first of all, the trailer's also itself wrecked as well, and you couldn't do all that with just that gun, and I don't think even she could do that with her shivs, but yeah, there's no way she's going to be the culprit here. And again, we have a couple different suspects, like Crusher, and we got the Shade, but I don't know if any of these characters could and would do this. So I honestly have really no idea who this is. Obviously, it's setting up a big murder mystery for the season, but I have no idea who the murderer could be, because again, we heard some sort of weird creature snarl, growl noise when, seconds before the Gambler's death. So I don't know, because we know that Dr. Bones is going to be a big presence in the season. He showed up at the end of season 2. He's going to, I'm assuming, be the main villain here, or at least one of the main villains. So I don't know if he could do this. Maybe it's one of his henchmen or something like that. I really have no idea, but I'm definitely really intrigued to find out. And that, of course, is where the episode ends. But this is one of the strong suits of this show, is it sets up these mysteries so well. So I'm just really excited to see how it unravels in this season. But anyways, guys, that was Stargirl Season 3, the official premiere, Episode 1, or Chapter 1, The Murder. It is unfortunate that the gambler got murdered before he even got to meet his daughter. And, I mean, he still has that letter in his pocket, so the JSA will probably find that. I'm kind of sad that he died, but it was cool to get him back for at least one more episode. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about the Stargirl Season 3 premiere? Again, stay tuned for my Episode 2 review and breakdown. That'll be up much sooner than this one was compared to when the episode came out. But for now, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything goes on in the DC life.